Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. In Memoir of My Banking Journey by Mr. V.H. Ramakrishnan, retired General Manager of Bank of India. Episode number 5. The chapter Nigerian Experiences continuing. The link of the earlier episodes are available in description. Nigerian experiences. Unforgettable moments continues. Having written about Ekpabio, I thought I should also write about another Nigerian officer. I'm changing his name. Let us call him Peter. In the 60s, Peter was a teenage boy doing the job of ball boy in the tennis court. One of our executives, who was a regular tennis player, liked him and took him as his houseboy. Later on, he joined the bank as a sub-staff. With the natural urge to study, he qualified himself further, became a clerk. In due course, he also became an officer. When I came to Lagos in 1984, he was a senior officer in inspection department. Very polite, well behaved, and knowledgeable. I think he also came to India for a training for a month. Once when the executive in whose house he worked visited Lagos, he specifically wanted to see him. He came into the room, prostrated before him, and never sat before him. On top of it, when he saw an empty coffee cup before the executive, he automatically removed it and took it outside. I thought the old habits never die. Our MD, Mr. Bello, was also happy with him. Peter had one desire. He wanted to work as a branch manager. Mr. Bello discussed with me. We felt that since he had done a very good job in inspection department and is thorough with his systems and procedures, we should give him an opportunity. So we sent him as a manager of a branch. Peter was delighted and took leave of us. Everything was normal for about 6 months. Then one Monday morning, Mr. Bello called me and said someone from the branch came to his aunt's house and has given disturbing reports about Peter. It was shocking. Mr. Bello is a man of quick action. He summoned Peter and gave him a warning. He told him that he is giving benefit of the doubt, and if it is not mend his ways, this will be the last time he will be working as a manager. I also called him to my cabin and advised him. We thought he would be okay. We were wrong. Peter took the word last very seriously. He took it as a last opportunity to make money. In the next 3 months, he gave loans left and right, obviously with personal gain. We sent an inspection team, and the report was shocking. He was immediately placed under suspension. I do not know what happened to him later as I left for India. The above episode demonstrated the fact that it is very difficult to understand the human behavior. A person coming up from the lowest level by sheer hard work changed for works dramatically, or as they say, power corrupts people. The next incident I'm going to narrate is the one about which I wrote in Tarangan about 10 years back. I'm again grateful to Tarangan for giving me permission to reproduce the same. However, as I do not have a copy of the same, I once again write from my memory and I'll try to make it short. Mr. M.B. Banerjee was an expatriate officer who was earlier working in Delhi, a very intelligent, sincere, and hardworking officer. He was also a very good singer. A get together were never complete without his melodious songs. During one summer vacation, he sent his family to India on a Friday evening. He was to go after about 2 months and then bring them back. On Saturday morning, he came to my house to make an international call to Delhi to inform his father in law that the family is on the way. No IC facility at the residences of the expatriates except the executive director. He told me that when he was seeing them off at the airport, his little daughter told him that should keep her photo in his purse as he may forget her face after 2 months. He had a good laugh and then he left. Next day, he went to a friend's place for lunch. He came home with a friend and died of massive heart attack. It was a big shock to us. I had to face quite a few problems. The first and foremost was how to break the news to his wife. It was a difficult moment in my life, but I called his wife on phone and first told her that he was not well. Then step by step I spoke and broke the news. Second problem was how to send the mortal remains of Banerjee to India. I contacted the High Commission of India. They immediately gave me the contact number of a Nigerian gentleman who undertakes the responsibility of collecting the body from the mortuary, embalming the same, buy a coffin, and then book it to Delhi through the airlines. In fact, he did an excellent professional job. I decided to send Mr. R.B. Narayan along with the body of Banerjee to Delhi and hand over the same to his family. Mr. Bello also made a nice gesture. He said a senior Nigerian officer also will also go with Mr. Narayan as a mark of respect for the deceased. I'm happy to inform that his children are well settled now. One guideline for all officers working overseas: keep an excellent relationship with the Indian High Commission Embassy. In a contingency, they can come to your rescue. Please attend to all the functions organized by the High Commission. Tailpiece. Two, two-stage bargaining. Lagos is famous for go-slow. Traffic jams were so common that vehicles sometimes used to crawl. So a market also developed which was called go-slow market. The vendors will come near the car and as they say, you can buy from pin to elephant. Bargaining is very common. Here I learned about two-stage bargaining. For example, the vendor sells you a telephone instrument. He asks for say Naira 500. You start with 100. The bargaining goes on and finally you agree on 250. Now the buyer has a right to say no, I'll not pay 250. I'll pay only 200. The vendor will not get offended and will come down to 240. You can finally settle at 225. The community and I or relationship beyond banking. Whenever you land in a new place, you will first look for members of your own community, especially in a foreign country. That way, I had an advantage. Mr. B.R. Parthasarathi, who retired as GM, was already there. I knew BRP from the date of his joining the bank. Both of us worked in Chennai main branch for many years. Gold medalist in BCom, he was a very intelligent officer. In fact, he was good in teaching, educating his juniors. He introduced me to the Tamilian circle, even though he had another officer, Mr. Narayan, a Keralite whose wife was a Sindhi. His circle was totally different. Unfortunately, Narayan is no more, but I'll write about him later. BRP introduced me first to Mr. N. Krishnamurthy, fondly called as Kannan by all his friends. I will also refer to him as Kannan. He had come to Nigeria many years before us. In fact, his house was the entry point for all newcomers from Tamil Nadu. They would be assured of a sumptuous lunch at his place. Kannan and his wife Bhanu, who unfortunately is not alive now, were great hosts. You can walk into his house on a Sunday and you can be assured of a scene where two or three guests would be having lunch. In fact, quite a few Tamilian businessmen who used to do business with Nigeria used to stay in his house for weeks. Kannan was working for one of the leading Sindhi businessmen. He was earlier managing a few cinema theaters owned by the businessman. He had to face a robbery in one of the theaters and received two bullets on his thigh. In spite of this, he continued to live there. Kannan is still in Lagos, now a successful businessman himself. One day he called on me in the office and told me that he may have to come to me with requests from his boss. He requested me to take my decisions purely on merit and need not show any special consideration because of my personal friendship. He said even if I give a negative reply, he can take it and convince his boss. It was an excellent gesture. He is still in touch with me and the friendship has grown beyond banking. Whenever someone wants a reference in Nigeria, I give Kannan's number. He extends all help to them. In fact, when I took charge, many Tamilian staff of the customers came into limelight. Then these being clever businessmen started sending their Tamil staff to get business done. It was really funny. In fact, one Mr. Narsimhan, who did chartered accountant's course with me, though 2 years junior, but in the same auditor's firm, was working for one of the Dalmal groups. His boss mentioned about him, and I was keen to meet him, but he was avoiding me. Finally, I had to force him to come and see me. He explained that his boss would ask him to come to me and with their demands and that he wanted to avoid such a situation. I told him that he should not worry on that score. I'll tackle things in my way. I owe an explanation here. The Central Bank of Nigeria had allotted foreign exchange 9, a scarce commodity, to the banks to be used at their discretion for their customers for imports. So the businessman would go from bank to bank for exchange allocation. The profit margin on imports used to be 200 to 300%. Hence, the pressure on banks were quite high. Once a leading Sindhi businessman came with a request that he needs a manager. At the same time, I knew one capable person from Delhi, let me call him Akash, who was working from the Birla Group, who was looking for a change. Since I knew the paying capacity of the Sindhi businessman, I advised Akash to demand a very high salary. Surprisingly, it clicked. Both were very happy. Later on, Akash started a business on its own and was very successful and settled down in London. When I was in Dubai, Akash called on me during one of the visits to India and said he would like to place some deposit with BOI. I thought he would be offering a few lakhs, but he offered a few crores. The story does not end here. After a few months, a branch of the manager of the branch unwittingly revealed the deposit figures to Akash's brother, who was a customer of the branch and was running a small industry. Akash was quite upset that the confidentiality security was not maintained. That stopped the flow of further deposits. Gradually, I found out that I was turning into an employment exchange. There was always a demand for South Indians, especially Tamilians. Many Indians have felt Tamilians were a service class and will not compete with them later. I also felt quite happy in helping the people. I also made it a point of not seeking an employment for anyone. Only if the demand comes from a businessman, I'll try to locate a suitable person. This way, I was not obliged to the customer, it was the other way around. Many Indians who were working with Sindhis were tempted to start their own businesses. In a gathering of South Indian couples where I was asked to address, I told them not to try to imitate the Sindhis. Sindhis have the capacity to withstand a huge loss. You do not have that capacity. If you're determined to do business, please transfer 50% of your wealth to your wife. I told the wives not to allow the husband to touch the same under any circumstances. I told the husbands that they can play with their own 50% and should not touch wife's money even if they lose the entire amount. Needless to say, all the ladies appreciated the advice. I have to mention about Gopi. Gopi was a Malayali businessman who was doing roaring business in Hong Kong. In fact, he was doing better than Sindhis and was a VIP customer of Bank of India. He used to host dinners, cocktails for visiting chairman executives at Hong Kong. However, he lost heavily in dealing with Nigeria. He had trusted some Chinese traders who were reported to have cheated him. I had first met Gopi in Nairobi, where he had a subsidiary. At that time, he was doing well. Later, I met him in Lagos. He moved over to Lagos and was trying to recover his lost money. In spite of his setback, he was always pleasant and enterprising. He also started running an Indian restaurant in Kaduna in the north. Even though he was not our customer, we tried to help him. I always used to admire his will to fight and come back in life. Unfortunately, I have lost touch with him. Tailpiece. Mr. A and Mr. B were well-known businessmen. Both were married. A fell in love with B's wife and they got married. A's first wife settled in India. B got married again. Now the marriage of B's daughter through his first wife, who is now the wife of A, was fixed. I received the wedding invitation. In that invitation, both A and his wife and B and his wife invited everyone up for their daughter's wedding. Problem amicably solved. The episode Nigerian experiences will be continuing. Thank you very much for your patience. Please do like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.